Welcome back to Scotty's shed. It's been a while. Took a bit of time out due to the new arrival. My son, Kit. Welcome to the world, Kit. Done a bit of research on this engine. LS 6-litre crate motor. Got it off a mate in the drift world for handy money. He had an LS1 fitted, blew it up several times, bought a brand new crate engine, 6-litre, and then just gave up on the idea, so I bought it off him for handy money. Now, I've been having a bit look at the casting numbers, and this one appears to have 5364 heads on it, which, as far as I can gather, they only came on the LS3. I mean, I'm not up on GM engines at all, V8s at all. It's all new to me. So if somebody could enlighten me in the comments of what heads they should have on, or did the later LS2 crate motor come with these heads, let me know. I mean, it's got the electronic throttle body, 4-bolt, so that all figures for LS2, LS3. The casting on the block is definitely 6.0L, so definitely a 6-litre bottom end. It's just the heads that have got me flummoxed. I mean, I bought the GM LS2 wiring loom and ECU, and they're just plug and play. All work perfectly. The only plug that didn't fit was at the back, the oil pressure sensor, but didn't really matter to me because I've got standalone digital dash that takes the oil pressure, oil temperature and such like off the oil aftermarket oil filter housing. Now the engine number starts 7NC06, so I'll have to look that up when I get back home, get some internet access. But yeah, drop something in the comments. Enlighten me on GM engines, because there's so much stuff on the internet you can't figure out what's what, and obviously GM made so many different configurations, especially in crate motors, because they're designed to go into anything really. I mean, the loom was brilliant. Literally plug and play, give it a live, wire out from the fuse box to the fuel pumps, heavy duty earth strap onto the engine, press the button and away it went. Boom, jumping into life just like that. Perfect. Now I know a lot of LS engines get fitted into drift cars, S13s in the States and all that. And you can buy a full fitting kit, no problem, to do everything for left-hand drive. But if you're doing right-hand drive, which is less common, there's not that many over here in the UK. Probably Australia have done more than us. I mean, everybody slags off the V8 as being a cheating engine, but that's usually just people who can't afford one. And I've wanted to do this for like 5 or 6 years. Don't care what everybody else is doing, this is just what I've always wanted to do. Anyway, back to fitting kits. I bought a proper sump from Jegs. The front sump, baffled, you know, does the job. But I made engine mounts and I made gearbox mounts and I got a prop shaft made. And the only reason I didn't buy a full kit was headers. The only right-hand drive headers that I've seen over here in use are from Fast somebody or other. I'll stick it up here when I get home. They'll fit a right-hand drive and all their kit will fit a right-hand drive, but you have to then spend another $500 to $700 getting a starter location to take it over from this side to that side, and that's the only way those headers will fit. So basically I just set to and made a custom header for this side, and I bought one for the other side that someone had sort of modified, and it all fits perfect now. But as far as I'm aware, you can't buy a right-hand drive full kit bolt on without moving the starter. So that was a learning curve and a bit of a pain. But otherwise, fairly straightforward. I mean, moved the radiator to the back, so there's quite a lot of plumbing involved with that. The only other thing I'm going to add to that is put an extra water pump at the back to help with the flow. although the thing never overheated, after 3 really strong runs down at Anglesey, the temperature was getting up there. Didn't push any water out, but I think if I'd just kept going and going, I would have had problems. The only other problem I had, as with the previous video, one of the oil pipes to the oil cooler, oil filter, remote oil filter, the end burst off it, oil went on the manifold, and we had a little fire. But that's normal for me. But now I've got some proper pipes made up, shouldn't have that problem again. And that was literally the only teething problem I had with it. Superb engine to drive, just power from nothing. None of this turbo lag carry on. So I used to be concentrating on keeping the engine in its performance zone rather than driving the car. Now you can just forget all that and drive the car, and a lot more fun and probably a lot more competitive. I mean, in the future, probably cam upgrade, valve train upgrade, must get it tuned, because at the minute it's running the knock sensors, and apparently these are really conservative, pulling the timing back with the knock sensors. And we're using high-grade UK pump fuel, which apparently is a load better than what they use in the States, so there's probably a lot more to gain out of this engine, pretty much as it is, by getting Greg down at ProTuner to do his magic on it, see what he can get out of it. The only other slight confusion and problem I had was the alternator stand and the idler pulley to the other side. I mean, I moved things around because I was doing away with the power steering pump because I've got an electronic power steering pump now. But apparently there's different depths of how far out the pulleys come for different, vehicles that they're going in. It's hard to see because it's quite dark. But basically, the LS1 stuff that I got to put on the LS2 engine, this stand brought the alternator far too far forward, and the same with the idler pulley up at the top side, far too far forward. So nothing lined off. I measured everything and roughly machined this bracket back to get the alternator in line, and it's close, but I still don't think it's right, because we do get a bit of sort of rubbery bits around here after we've had a few good runs, which tells me it's just not in line. I haven't machined it properly to get it right. So if anybody could tell me what stand I do need, I would appreciate that. Just drop it in the comments. Doing my research, I think there's 3 different depths of pulley, and this one is the farthest one back towards the engine. So again, I'd appreciate it if somebody could tell me which is the proper alternator stand I should have for the LS2 crate motor with the lowest depth crank pulley and water pump. I mean, it works for now, it's not a problem, but it's like it's just going to end up being a pain when you really don't want it to be a pain. Yeah, the wiring loom, if you're going to do this LS engine conversion or whatever, get the proper JM plug and play harness. It's just so simple. I mean, it was like $900 from Summit Racing. Literally plug and play. The only plug that didn't fit was the oil pressure sensor, and I think for a pressure gauge or whatever, the plug was different for that, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, it doesn't matter on this because I've got a digital dash that has oil pressure, oil temperature, oil level, and I've taken the pickups from an aftermarket oil filter housing. So basically that's run separate, but other than that one plug that didn't fit, it's just perfect. Even the map sensor in the top of the manifold here, there was like a choice of 2 map sensors apparently, and the loom came with an adapter plug to fit either or. Basically just plugged it all in, put a heavy earth from the chassis to the engine, then all the independent fuse board needed was a heavy battery live, an ignition live, has a wire going off to the fuel pumps and a wire going off to the cooling fans at the back. That was it. Give it an ignition live, wire up the starter, spin it over and away it went. First click, couldn't believe it. And another thing that's really starting to tempt me is to get this thing back on the road again, which wouldn't take much doing. Have a bit of fun out there. Because let's face it just sits in the workshop like months on end. Goes out maybe once a month through the season. If I'm competing, if I'm not competing, less than that. So all I basically need to do is find some PS13 headlamps. If anybody's got any out there that are not mad money that they seem to be at the minute, or just any headlamp that would suit really, up to MOT spec. All I'll need to do after that, wire them in, high-low beam, no problem. Wire in a pair of indicators, they're all there. Just need to run the wires and put a switch in. Digital dash has got the indicator light on it, so that'll be okay. Digital dash has got the high beam 1 light on it, so that'll be okay. A number plate light on the back, and pretty much that'll be it. MOT, find some insurance for it, which will be amusing. And just have a little gentle run around down to the supermarket.